Welcome back to Fridays with Dr. Frida. On the set today, I have my own personal attorney. She is absolute a pleasure to work with. Thank you so much, Adele, for what you've done. Adele Graham, she has her Instagram handle is lifting a lawyer a lady. Adele, can you please tell us what that stands for?
Okay. It's actually a combination of the two things I love the most. I love heavy lifting at the gym, and I love to lift the heavy burden of entrepreneurship off my clients. So I kind of took the two and meshed them into the lifting lawyer lady. So I think that encompasses who I am.
I can definitely say that you do that very well. Yeah, working together with you not just once, but a few times now. I think that you've definitely been able to. What I love about you is your responsiveness. Not many professionals, when you contact them, will they respond to you almost immediately or they'll call you back, right? You kind of sometimes have to wait for days, even weeks, and sometimes they'll get back to you and they get back to you through email. But what I love about you is that you'll always pick up the phone, you'll always call or you'll text back and you'll always respond. So for me, that's been extremely helpful in our journey together. We actually bought our house with Adele. Adele made the whole thing so easy. It did not have to do anything extra. She explained everything. So if anybody is interested in making a purchase, Adele is the great lawyer, a great lawyer to work with. Another thing that Adele really specializes in is trademarking. So we're working on that together, but we'll touch more on that later. So you wear a lot of hats. You are an entrepreneurial woman, right? You're a mom. You're an attorney. You do so much. I know because, I mean, listen, somebody that does it knows somebody else that does it, right? Yeah. So how do you prioritize what you do and how you do it?
It's not easy. It's not easy. And I think it's taken me a while to kind of find that balance of figuring out how to do it all. But I give myself things I call non-negotiables. So my one non-negotiable that everybody in my entire family knows is the gym for me. I started working out about 12, 13 years ago, from a childhood where I never worked out at all to after having my first child, going through postpartum depression, all this stuff, starting to work out and realizing that there's another part of me that I just never knew existed. And so now when I have 1,000,001 hats on my head, I take them all off and I go to the gym for an hour. That's my time. And it actually has helped me realize that it kind of like dominoes, right? So like you go to the gym, you work out, and then you need to recover. And so that leads to healthier eating habits. That leads to forcing yourself to get better sleep. That leads to actually starting to listen to your body. So I feel like for me, that one thing has really helped kind of like carve out other parts of my day where I do get to like bring myself back and be like, okay, now you need to focus on yourself a little bit today, especially with drinking water. A lot of us don't drink enough water, but after, an hour at the gym of sweating, your body's like, I need water.
It's asking you, it's begging you, right?
Yeah. So that's my biggest thing is to carve out even that 1 hour of time for yourself.
Right, absolutely. Do you do anything else for health-wise besides, let's say, the gym and drinking water? Do you help your muscles with soreness? Do you do anything else in terms of your health, like supplementation, maybe eating correctly? Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, so supplements are a big part of it. I am just so bad at remembering to take supplements that I'll go like a day without it. I'm like, oh man, and then it just sits there for a long time. So the supplements I'm still working on. And I know I need them because my body tells me I do. But the one thing that I have actually found to be really, really helpful for my recovery is I got like one of those massage guns and 5-10 minutes before bedtime, that's what I'm doing. Sitting at a desk all day, your whole back is tight. And there are days where I'm just like, why do I feel so stiff? And so investing in something like that has really given me an opportunity to hone into what hurts, And then I just sit there with my massage gun and I massage all my muscles. And also, just trying to speak to people like you and getting information on like, why am I not getting good sleep? Why do I have a headache? And your answer is magnesium. So trying to get that kind of information, reminding myself to actually take the supplements.
Yes. So before you actually came to me, I remember you telling me that you tried to go on this whole journey on your own. And you touched on how difficult that was. Can you please share with
Yes.
me
Oh
what
my
what you
gosh.
did? And I don't think you ever went to depth, so I would love to hear it.
Yeah. So I have three kids.
Hmm.
When my daughter was born, she's my second one. I really didn't know much other than what, the pediatrician would tell me. So I went along with whatever they told me. And so at 1 year old, she started to show signs of food allergies, and nobody in our family has them. So I didn't know what to do, and I started researching. And, the lawyer in me started reading everything under the sun and literally going in circles because one thing said something, then I would go to the doctor and her doctor would say something else. And it was just like constant overwhelm of information. So all that reading and things that I did to help her, I started realizing I have a lot of things that I just never even paid attention to, like gut issues or like hair falling out or things like that. So again, I went back to the drawing board and started reading, and like again, I'm going in circles. And thankfully for like social media and the internet, there's a lot of people out there that are sharing information, but you can't talk to them. You can't ask your own questions. So when you got into this, I was so excited because I'm like, I can finally talk to somebody who's not going to think I'm crazy. I could finally say things like magnesium, or like you use words like, yes, herbs will help get over like a cold, or no, you don't need antibiotics when you get an ear infection, things like that. People used to look at me like I was nuts. And then when I would talk to you about it, it's like it was kind of reassuring because I knew I wasn't crazy. But I finally had someone that I can actually discuss these things with and not keep going in these circles that I was going in on my own. So
Yes,
that was helpful.
I remember when you came to me, you said that you were trying to do this for so many years and you went out there and bought so many different
Yes.
products, but you didn't know how to use them. You
Yeah.
didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you were just saying that it was an exorbitant amount of money you were spending on
Yeah.
purchasing products that you don't even know how to use.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah. You read or you listen to people and they tell you you need this product, you need that product, but they don't really know your health. They don't know what else you're doing, what else you're taking, what are your other health conditions. And so I would read and I would buy product and I'd use it. And like I said, like I'm really bad at just taking supplements regularly. So I would spend all this money taking supplements that actually weren't doing anything for me. I mean, I spent so much time researching and reading and buying products, like let's say for hair, and nothing would happen. But I didn't understand that there was like underlying causes of that. And so it's like it kind of throws you off your journey too, because you realize like nothing is helping and you think there's something deeper wrong with you. But in reality, I was just using everything the wrong way or at the wrong time, or it just wasn't connecting with my body properly. And those are things I didn't understand before.
I'm glad I'm glad we got to speak about
Yeah.
that and that we were able to figure things out.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So, was there ever a moment where your body forced you to slow down or reevaluate how you were living?
Yes, many times.
Tell us
Yes,
about it.
many times. Actually, the first time that I kind of like realized it was like a huge wake up call was during COVID. The kids were all home. They were doing their online
Such a
studies.
tough time.
Yeah. And I mean, I know like everybody was in kind of the same boat. But as a business owner, so my husband and I both own our own businesses. So as a business owner, your clients really don't care that you had to homeschool your kids for the first 8 hours of the day. They still need stuff done. So when I would finish, with the kids online school and they would finally go to sleep, I'd be working until 4 o'clock in the morning and
Wow.
getting 3 hours of sleep every night. And one day my body just literally crashed, and I had never experienced that before. I was also younger, and like, when you're young, you bounce back. But at that time, with the stress of COVID and everything that we were doing at home as a family, my body just finally said, like, you're not listening to me. I'm going to do it so that you don't actually have a choice, And after that incident, I realized, oh my gosh, how powerful your body is at telling you to stop, slow down. And
I will tell you one thing that I've noticed, even with myself, our mind can go so far and race so fast and want to do so much,
yes.
right? But our body cannot keep up sometimes.
Absolutely.
Our body is not a machine.
Yeah.
And it cannot keep up with our mind. And sometimes we have to really just listen to the little whispers before they become screams. So I think that I'm pretty sure that your body was whispering at you before before like it started.
And I didn't know how to hear it. I didn't know how to hear it. I think that a lot of like women, mothers who are also doing like, trying to have a career, we kind of silence that voice, right? Because we
Yes.
don't have an opportunity. Like, we're always last.
Always.
Our families, our businesses, everybody else is ahead of
Yeah, I
us.
remember even when you came to me, you put
Right?
your daughter
Yes,
first.
yes. I was
And
like,
then
we
you
need to
said
help
one
her.
day I'll come back for
Yes.
myself.
Because when our kids are suffering, nothing else matters, right?
Exactly.
And so during COVID, it was like the kids are home. So you don't want them to see you only working. You wanted to spend as much time with them as possible. So there was no time to listen to myself. And then I think that moment, that event actually, it taught me, like, this is what your body was saying to you before all this happened. And you just ignored it, And so now, I mean, as my husband, I still ignore it most of the time, but now I'm better at like, all right, like I got to start slowing down. I know
Can you
where
tell
this is
me what
headed.
actually happened when you say?
Yes, I had a very, very severe panic attack that I've never experienced. So I didn't know what it was. It was just my kids and I were home. So I literally couldn't speak. I couldn't swallow. It was really frightening for me because my kids were watching me go through this panic attack that I didn't even know was a panic attack. They called my husband. He's like, we called, they called the ambulance, whatever. The ambulance, they showed up, the paramedics showed up, and they were like, you're having a panic attack. And I was like, oh, this is what it feels like. So that moment, like everyone's terrified, but thank God it was just that, thank God it was nothing worse. Thank God it was just kind of like a huge wake up call for me to finally say, I have to start listening to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened after that?
After that, I started to sleep a little more. I think that's the biggest problem, right? We only have so many hours in the day and you want to do it all, but you just can't. And that's one of the things that I've tried to kind of like teach myself over the years is you have to prioritize the important things. You cannot do it. God forbid if you leave some dishes in the sink, no one's going to come and judge you. It's okay.
You're the only one judging
Yes,
yourself, right?
yeah.
You're the one that's criticizing yourself.
We are biggest critics are, we're the hardest on ourselves. Meanwhile, we're trying to teach our kids differently, right? You have to lead by example. So that's one thing I'm trying to do actually for them too, is to show them self-care and self-love. If I'm over here breaking down, they're going to assume that that's the way that mothers, wives, women should be. And I don't want not my boys or my girl to think that that's the way that, you should treat yourself or your significant other.
I think that our generation, us in general, we have a big job in front of us, and that's to break the generational curse of letting our bodies break down and teaching that to our kids. We have to show our kids that it's okay to put yourself first, that it's not selfish to love yourself and to take care of yourself,
100%.
right? Because I think that I remember being taught that as a kid, that when you spend time for yourself or you try to fill your cup, you're considered selfish
100%.
and you're not being considerate of others' feelings. Actually, when I got married, I was an extreme people pleaser because of that. And my husband, I remember he would tell me, you don't have to do something you don't want to do, because I don't know how, but his mom was able to put that into his mind where he does have to take care of himself and love himself. And he always had that in his mind. Like he didn't care what people think. He didn't have this, feeling that he has to please somebody. If he can do it and he would love to do it, he does it. If he feels like it would cause some sort of resentment, he would not do it. And I think that that's what we're taught, whether you resent it or not, it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because this is the kind of people we are. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that sometimes even if you have nothing to do and that nothing is what's going to make you happy and you don't want to do something like that for somebody, or if somebody asks you, and I'm talking about maybe a brother or sister, and you don't want to go out of your way that day specifically, I think it's okay. But back then I did not understand that. If you have an hour to lay down on the couch and you need and somebody asks you to do something and now you feel guilty because you had that hour to lay down on the couch and relax, you shouldn't feel guilty. You should love yourself and say, it's okay. If I need this rest, it's okay for me to take this rest and take care of myself.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree with you 100%.
I don't think we were ever taught that. And I wish that we, like the generation that we are in our community, in our culture, in our society, I wish we can break that generational curse for our kids, because I do want our kids to be healthy, for them to be mentally healthy also, not just physically, but mentally healthy and mentally understand that they have to work on themselves too.
Yeah. I think that's been one of the things that I've been trying to work on the most. And our mental health really is determined by our community, our society, our well-being around other people. And so when you grow up being told that like taking care of yourself, going to the gym, you know, going to sitting for an hour, just sitting and watching TV, whatever your form of self-care is, right? Taking a walk, going to get your hair done, whatever it is not okay. That's how we were taught, right? Like you have to do everything for everybody first. And like, if you have time to go to the gym, that means something at home is lacking, you know?
Yeah. Why are your dishes not done, but you're at the gym?
Exactly.
Right. And there's like this guilty feeling associated
100%.
with it. Oh, I'm a mom. I should have been washing my
Yes.
floors and cleaning my
Yes.
dishes. Instead, I'm here at the gym working on myself.
Uh-huh.
That's not true. And that's not fair that we think like that.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is, I'm speaking here about changing the way our kids see life. We also have the job of helping our parents see things
100%.
differently.
Yes.
So
yes.
we're in that middle.
I sometimes find myself telling my parents, like, it's okay. It's okay to not do whatever it is that someone's asking you to do. And the funny thing is my mom, she doesn't practice this part, but she tells me all the time. She's like, don't take on clients that are going to stress you out or that are not going to pay your worth, right? Because everybody wants something for nothing. And her friend taught her this. I'd rather lay on my couch and read a book than waste my time doing that. And I'm like, Mom, you have to take the same.
I'm still learning that myself.
It's so hard though. But I think experience teaches you that, and having people in your corner. My husband's the same way. He's always the one who's like, your body is going to shut down on you if you don't listen to it. And every time it happens, I'm like, babe, you were right again. And he's like, you just take, he's like, it's okay. Just shut everything off. Just go lay down, take a nap. For me, it's like, I could do the dishes. I could do the laundry. I could go here. I could do this. Yeah, I have so much work to do. It's always going to be there. You know, the dishes will always be, everything will always still be there, but you may not be, like for your kids. So that's why I instill in them taking care of themselves. And it's in the form of eating healthy. They go to camp and they see all their friends eating junk all the time. And I say to them, well, how do you think that's going to make you feel? And in the long run, yeah, instant gratification is great, but you see how it makes you feel. You don't feel good. And so they're learning that too. And it's so amazing when you hear them say it back to you. Like my son the other day is like, Mom, they were giving out these colored ice pops and I didn't have any because I know there's red coloring. And I was like, oh.
My
so
kids
proud.
too. They won't eat.
Yeah.
They know that there's food coloring. They know that
Yeah.
there's that red 40. They
Yeah.
will not touch it.
I'm very open with my kids about all that stuff because, and then they'll go to parties, right? Birthday parties, and they'll be like, why can't all the kids are drinking soda? And I explain it to them.
That's the
you know?
difference between some parents. And I think that that parents really need to hear. A lot of parents are just, especially I think our generation, like our parents were like that, where I just said no, it means no, right?
No explanation.
Nobody wants to accept no when it just
Right.
means no. But if you're sitting there and talking to your kids and explaining to them, I tell my kids that, hey, these food colorings are going to make your brain fuzzy.
Yeah.
They're not going to make you think clearly. They're not going to let you focus. They're going to mess up your brain. You know, the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling, the way you're running. I said, do you want to feel that way? And then they tell me no. We had Ura. Are you part of Ura?
Yeah. Well, I'm not, but I know about them and their packages and stuff.
So every holiday they'll send packages. And I think that on which holiday was it? I think it was Sukkot that they sent us this box, this huge box of all of these, you know, lollipops and different colored candies. And I told my kids that you guys cannot eat that. And they asked why. And I explained to them and they looked at it and they just took it and they went to the garbage themselves and they threw it out on their own. I did not ask them. I said, just don't eat it. But I didn't ask them to throw it out.
Yeah.
But the fact that they understood that and they said, we're not eating this. This is bad for us. You know, it shows me that it clicked.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what our job as parents is, to just teach our kids that, because they're smart. You know, a lot of people, they underestimate their kids. Oh, he's too young to understand.
Oh, no, they understand.
They understand everything. And if you explain to them and expect them to understand, that's when they will actually understand.
Yeah.
And not just say no to them.
Yeah. And I think if we instill it at an early age, it actually gives them like this inner voice that we don't have, you know, that inner voice of like, listen to your body, listen to yourself. Does this feel right? is your body happy from doing certain things? And there are days where my kids are just like, I don't want to go to camp today. I'm so tired. I just don't want to go to camp today. And I'm like, okay, stay home. Like,
You're nicer than I am.
I'm not gonna there. I mean, trust me, there's days where I'm just like, no, you gotta go, right? I want them to know that it's okay to voice how they feel. There are days we should have mental health days. Like, we should be allowed to take mental health days. Why can't our kids?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I want them to know that their feelings are valid. And right now, as kids, yeah, they like to do their little drama, as I call it. I don't feel good today, or I think my throat has a tickle, or whatever, because there's something that they don't want to do at school.
See, with me though, that doesn't work, because
right,
I'll instantly apply them with
something. Oh no, my husband's like, wait, she's gonna open up her pharmacy doors. Hold on a second, and then all of a sudden, like, the cabinet of vitamins opens up, and I'm like, tell me what are your symptoms? Let's treat your symptoms. Like, oh, there she goes again. But it's funny, actually, because now they don't tell me their symptoms. They're like, Mom, I need like Manuka honey. Mom, I need silver. Mom, give me that throat spray. Mom, give me this. And I'm like, I guess you know your symptoms since you're asking for something specific.
My kids come to me and tell me they have like a bellyache. Mom, can I have some glutamine? Mom, or let's say if they're feeling, can I have some Munoaid? They just know. They know what they need at that point. They know what makes them feel good.
Yeah.
So.
And it's important. As they get older, they're gonna have that same confidence in listening to their internal voice.
Yeah, and I mean, I even taught my kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. I taught them to swallow capsules.
Yeah, my little ones are doing it also. It's like such a milestone for parents. It's like, oh my God, you can swallow a pill.
It's so much easier. So I lay out their vitamins for them every single week. And so I give them some magnesium. I give them some omega. I give them a multivitamin. And they take it, and some probiotic, and they take it every single day. And they love it. It's like their fun thing to do.
Yeah.
They love to go and just take it, and they play around themselves, like, how many can I swallow in one shot? Do your kids do the same thing?
They're not there yet. They're very afraid. Well, my older one does, but the two younger ones are still like on the gel caps of like the vitamin D or whatever, and they're like, my daughter gets nervous. Is it gonna get stuck? And my little one's like, look at me. It's fun. It's fun to watch them like
grow, and
but also like accept this, like they don't fight back. Like, if mom says that we need to, this is going to make us healthy, they do it. And I just like, I'm glad, because I know like a lot of parents struggle to get their kids to eat healthy, or to, to take vitamins. I mean, not to say my kids eat everything, but they know, like they know they have, like, I always prioritize, like, did you have your protein today? What protein did you have today? And did you have your fruits and your vegetables? Did you go to the bathroom today? Like, these are things I want them to know that this is important stuff. Like, above everything else, these are the important things. And so,
absolutely, I love that. I love that you say that, because I also make my kids go to the bathroom every single day. I tell them how important it is to be able to go to the bathroom every day, and protein is also very important. I make sure I tell them, if they want to eat their meal, let's say we always have something, protein and then some complex carbs. If they want to eat only the carbs and not the protein, I always explain to them, listen, you need protein in your body. Everything's made up of proteins, right? Of the amino acids. So I explain it to them. My kids, they know so much. They know all the different herbs.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's
it's
amazing.
So funny. And they even know what they're for, because we speak about it. We talk about it. So they're very well educated about it.
Yeah. It's so important to be completely open with your kids, for the kids to hear parents speaking as adults around them, because I think it gives kids like this maturity, right? Like, they hear you, and they hear the things that are important. And then you hear them say it back to each other. Like, when I watch my kids interact, it's so funny, because they sound like little us. Like one of them will be like, you didn't have your protein today. And then it's usually to my daughter, because she hates protein. Like, you didn't eat your protein today. Eat that, and then ask mom for this. Like, eat your protein first. Tell her you ate it, and then ask her for this other thing. It's just so funny. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, they really do learn everything from us. They say, if you want something to be done, don't say it, show it by example, right? Yeah. So if you're showing it to them by example, they're obviously going to accept it and see it a lot faster.
Yeah.
So tell us, please, let's go back and tell us why you chose to become an attorney, and why you chose to specialize in, real estate, construction law, and also trademarking.
So it's not a linear path. Kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never said lawyer. I always wanted to be something in like the creative field. Like I always knew I wanted to create something. I didn't know what that was. But the funny thing is that every report card I ever got, the teachers all wrote, she talks too much, she should be a lawyer. And my parents took that as like, you should be a lawyer. My dad, my whole life was like, one day you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a lawyer. And I was like, I'm not heading in that direction. Like, I don't think so. I didn't do like pre-law in undergrad. I did like, I was really interested in like entertainment and media and creating and being creative. At that time, I thought it was like in the entertainment field. But then I took a year off after college and I went to work in corporate. I worked at Dolce & Gabbana thinking I'm going to be like this fashion, whatever. That didn't work out because I realized I'm not made for the corporate world. And then I always had my dad's voice in the back of my head, like, become a lawyer. And I thought, and I did some research and I was like, with a law degree, a lot of doors will open in different areas. So why not go? So I went to law school and there I realized that that idea of like being creative applies in law. Because, I mean, people say it's loopholes, but you have to use the law to help a client in any capacity, wherever they are. There's so many different ways that you can read something and apply it. And so after law school, I did work at a few different places and I got hired in a mid-sized firm in the city doing real estate law. And I loved it. Like the transactional work, I loved seeing something come to fruition. Someone has this desire to buy their first home and helping them walk through it was like amazing. And I just liked, I guess I don't like hand holding, but I'm good at it. Like I'm good at
You are very good
helping.
at it.
Yeah, I'm good at helping people who are nervous about things get through it without a lot of fear, or at least minimizing that fear for them. And then at that firm, I really was exposed to so many different things. I did litigation. I did estate planning. I did so many different things to see what I liked. And then when I went off on my own, I started helping a lot of small businesses just because I kind of fell into that. From the real estate, some people came back and referred business owners to me. And I realized that that's what I enjoy doing the most. Like I love to help someone take their idea and make it reality, whether it's like forming their business or taking something they're building and protecting it. And I come from a family of small business owners. So it's kind of like, it's inherent in me already to understand their needs. And so it's kind of come natural now, you know, because I'm like, I get you, I get your pain and I want to help you through it. So I kind of, I guess, came full circle with the whole, you know, doing creative things because I get to help people complete what they want in a way that maybe they didn't think of before.
So that's what made you want to do this. What about trademarking?
Well, with trademarking was interesting. It wasn't a very big field, like up until a few years ago. I think now there's a lot more trademark attorneys. I think with the coming of social media and just the speed at which information travels and ideas and just, you know, the magnitude of what we're seeing on social media, trademarking has become a big thing because people have to protect what they're building. And so working so closely with small business owners, I also realized that a lot of them were not protecting what they're building. I don't think that a lot of people, at least back then when I went off on my own, so I've been on my own for 10 years. And so, you know, when you're a small business owner, you're focusing more on building the business, getting the clients, you know, securing a lease and doing all like the things that you need to actually run a business, but you don't think long term. Like you're building this thing, but what happens when you build your brand, you don't think about protecting it. And then someone's like, that's a great idea, I should take it.
Let me see if it's protected.
Right. And they don't even check. They just start using it. And the problem that you have when you don't register a trademark, let's say, is that you have very little protection. You could send them a cease and desist letter, but you yourself aren't protected. So go fight in court and prove that you came first, you know? And so I started to notice that with a lot of, they were working so hard on finding a really good name or designing an amazing logo. And I realized that had to come with the conversation of opening up a business. So whenever I do like a consult, one part of it is, okay, let's talk about the business itself. But the other part is, how are we going to protect the brand that you're going to build? You know, some people are not ready for that conversation because I found that people who are not really sure how far their business is going to go or their brand is going to go, they're not ready to have the conversation.
But the ones that don't have the vision.
Right. They're not fully invested. They're kind of like one foot out the door. So they don't want to take that leap. But I feel like if you're going to be a successful business owner, you have to be all in. And all in means protecting what you're building.
1,000,000%.
By the time it happens, by the time that someone steals your idea, it's too late.
Yeah, and that's why we came to you.
Yeah.
You trademarked the Immunoaid for us.
Yes.
And MJR Wellness.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask you was, can you please explain to us the difference between trademarking and patent?
Oh, yes, very big difference. So trademarking is protecting the brand you're building. So it's the name, right? Like MJR Wellness, that name, once we trademark it, nobody else can use it for the field that you're in. Patent is really a design idea. So, like this pen, right, is patented, and you work on the design of the pen. But the name, BIC, that gets trademarked. It's a difference in what the goal is. What is the purpose? So you are going to trademark something that is used either in the name, the logo. If there's a slogan, we could trademark a color. So the vision of the company, the identity of the company gets trademarked. But a patent is really a design of an object or a product. It's funny because I sometimes on my Instagram, I'll share really cool patents. A patent for, they have a patent on the American flag. They have a patent on the sneaker. Like there's just so many cool patents. The difference though with trademarks and patents is in order to file a patent, you go through a much more rigorous process because you need an actual design. Like you have to do a sketch, and you have to explain how this patent works. But with a trademark, it's really just the name that you're using, right? Like Immunoaid. So you're using Immunoaid, and you're putting the name on a bottle, and you're using it for vitamin supplements. So let's say you've trademarked it, and now somebody like in Wisconsin wants to create also their own version of Immunoaid. They don't know you're doing it, but they create an Immunoaid also in the form of vitamins or supplements. The fact that you have a trademark, they can't use it. And because you're registered, you can actually either stop them from using it or force them to pay money that they've earned off of that name because you've trademarked it and you've been using it first. So I've actually had a lot of clients recently who thankfully did file for trademark applications and were successful in getting a cease and desist issued, and the individual either to stop or pay them whatever they've earned off of using their name.
Wow.
So that's why it's really important.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes. Like I say it's the insurance policy for a business, right? Like you don't wait until you get into a car accident to buy car insurance. You buy car insurance as soon as you buy a car. Why not do the same thing with your business? If you're going to take the time and the money to develop this business, to grow the brand, why not protect it in the long term? Let's hope you never have to use that protection. But the fact that you have it is really important. And now, you see why. Yeah, no, right? You see how hard it is to build this,
to create something and then, not be able to protect it. It's not ideal.
No.
Right?
No.
At what point would you tell somebody that has a product or a business to start protecting themselves legally?
Well, I think that if your product is already in use, even if you don't have that many sales, even if you have 1 or 2 sales, but you're actively in the stream of commerce, I think that you have to protect it right away. Before it becomes so big that someone sees the idea and they say, oh, that's a really great idea. I could totally make money off of that. Because by that point, it's too late.
Yeah.
I do have clients, though, that work on products that take, research and development, let's say it takes a long time. But they know they have so much invested in it already that they can't afford to wait until the product is already out in the stream of commerce before protecting it. There's 2 different types of applications. There's an in-use application and there's an intent to use application. And so if you have the intent to use something, the name, logo, or whatever the brand identity is, if you know you're going to use it within 3 years, you can apply for an intent to use application and already secure that protection until it's in the stream of commerce.
Wow, that's really good to know.
And by that point, you convert the application, you have protection.
Got it. Well, you guys heard it here, trademark your brands, trademark your businesses. It's not a joke. Somebody could steal something you've been working for so hard and so long. and you have the perfect person right here. Adele Graham, she's amazing to work with, very easy to work with, and she will help you find a way to do it the quickest way possible and make it super easy for you. Can you explain what trademarking actually protects and what it doesn't?
Yes. So, as I mentioned, trademark protects the things that you're using, your name, logo, the identity of the business. If it has a slogan, the color, like Tiffany, that color is trademarked. Even smells can be trademarked. So, the things you don't trademark are the things that are generic. You can't trademark something that has a generic name. Like you can't trademark the name Perfect Pizza for a pizzeria. It's very generic, or Hot Pizza for a pizzeria. So you can trademark things that are unique to your brand. So if I describe, if I say immunoaid, it can mean, many things, right? It doesn't necessarily mean the thing that you're actually selling. So that's how when I speak to clients about trademark, people want to trademark such generic names, and you can't, because then you can't have the monopoly on that name that already is like in the dictionary. When you think about your product, and that's why I say when you're working on building something, you're building something from scratch that's unique to you. And that's why it's important to trademark it. If it was something generic, I would never say trademark it. Like I've had I've had clients come to me and they'd want to, let's say, trademark something that means something in, like, let's say it means pen in Spanish. And I would say to them, but it means pen in Spanish and you're selling a pen. Why is that unique? Oh, but I like the name. And I'm like, yeah, but use it. You just can't trademark it. And then everybody else who likes the name can use it also. That's why trademark is important, because of the creativity behind the brand. The brand. It actually takes you time to think about something.
No, absolutely. Well, tell us, please, since you are so knowledgeable in the law, what piece of advice, legal advice, do you wish that all women knew?
I wish that women weren't afraid to ask for protection. I wish that women weren't afraid to ask for non-disclosure agreements. I wish that women weren't afraid to, you go and you have, like, women in business, they go and have conversations and they don't protect themselves. You have proprietary information you're discussing in a meeting, and nobody has an NDA signed. And now after that conversation, anybody can go and take whatever you've discussed and go do their own thing. And I feel like women have this sense of, like, they just don't feel comfortable saying, this is my idea, and before we can start this conversation, I'd like you to sign this NDA.
But that's not a problem with men.
No, because men are like, I just feel like men, not that they have an arrogance. No, I feel like men are more confident. Yeah, men are more confident. They're just like, yeah, just sign this and let's move on. I think that women, because it takes so much for a woman to stand out in business, but I do think that we're changing. I think the times are changing. I think a lot more women are becoming so much more confident and powerful and literally trailblazing certain fields, that I think that we're going to get to a point where women are going to have that, that confidence also. But I find so many women come to me and say, I went into this partnership never signing a contract. I gave this person $50,000 and I have nothing. And I cannot help them. And it breaks my heart. I actually had a woman recently who came to me, exactly that happened. She went into business with somebody who kept promising her a contract. She was so excited about this business that she gave the woman $27,000 with no agreement. And things unfolded in a way where she had absolutely no recourse. You come to me as a lawyer and you think that because I'm a lawyer, I can help you. And I really try. But there's just certain things that
there have to be documents.
Yeah. And so I really wish that women were more comfortable with demanding those protections. Sign this contract and then we'll talk. Or give me this non-disclosure and then we'll talk, because once the idea is out there, it's not protected anymore.
I feel like that's something you learn over time, though.
Of course. Experience. Yeah. I love the fact that we now have so many professional networking groups, whether it's on WhatsApp or social media or just in person, where women share ideas, because the women with the experience can help the women that are coming into the business world and teaching them about, just from our own trial and error. Right. Yeah. And I feel like that, information, that knowledge will help them make less mistakes. And then hopefully they'll teach the next generation, and women will become more powerful than what we think that we're, like, I feel like a lot of us, especially from very traditional households, we're not taught to stand out. We're not taught to demand whatever it is we're asking for. We're not taught to control a room. We're taught to just be there and look pretty and sit there and wait till your turn is called. And I feel like we're coming to a point where women are finally feeling comfortable enough to stand up for themselves. And I love that. And that's why when women come to me, I'm like, you need this and this and this. Don't feel afraid. That lady
so you empower them.
That lady who came to me was like, I felt so uncomfortable demanding this contract because she promised me that we were going to she was signing it because it was another woman that she was going into business with, and it was somebody who had a lot more experience, who knew how to get her way. It's really unfortunate.
I must say that I'm very proud and I'm grateful that I'm surrounded by women that are very powerful, that don't mind being powerful, don't have a fear of power. I'm grateful that, I can learn from them and that we support each other and help each other and guide each other. I think that's so important, to surround yourself with the right people as well. Because if you're going to surround yourself with people that don't do these things and don't have that power, as we were speaking about, that ability to demand, you will be afraid to do so. So I love that you're empowering these.
Thank you.
These women.
I love that we have the ability to do this, to talk to other women, because I'm not crazy about social media because of, just the downside of it, but there's also really good positives about it where you can see what other women are doing and learn from them and grow from them and help each other
so much these days.
It's really incredible.
It's really about discipline.
Yes.
I feel that you can even learn more online these days, right? Like on YouTube than you can going to get a 4-year college degree. The only thing is that people unfortunately don't have that discipline to just sit down and learn and take action, read, educate themselves. Tell us a little bit about a client that was difficult. One of your most difficult clients. I don't mean a difficult case.
No, I've had some difficult clients. As a lawyer, you really, they tell you have to represent the clients, right? And you have to represent them to the best of your ability. There comes a point though where a client is demanding something of you that you cannot do, whether it's you professionally can't do it or legally you can't do it. And so I recently had a situation where a client wanted me to do something that I could not do. I took an oath. I have to abide by certain ethical rules, and I couldn't do it. And the client kept badgering me and badgering me and badgering me. And it does become like distressing and upsetting because you're like, I'm trying my best here and I'm trying to be professional, but you just have to kind of like overstep your own kindness sometimes
and set boundaries.
Your foot down. And that was it. And I put my foot down. I sent a very, very strongly worded letter. And I said, this is the very last conversation you and I are having. Our relationship is over. Do not contact me again, or I will have to seek other action. And thankfully, the person listened. I hate doing that because I really try to help everybody. But, I think that some people they feel that their wants and needs are bigger than anything else. And they try to take over, and you have to set boundaries. You have to put your foot down, and you have to learn that this isn't the last client that's going to be like this, so you can't take it personally. You have to understand that everyone comes from their own path. There's a reason why this person is the way they are. It's not personal to you. You're not the reason why they're acting this way. So you just have to keep it as professional as possible. But you have to cut ties and say, I cannot help you. Yes. I will not help you. And this is the end of the conversation. And that's it.
What I've learned in practice, you can absolutely fire your clients.
Yes.
You can absolutely fire them and refuse to work with them.
Yes.
It is your right, and for your own sanity and your own feelings of, like you're overstepping my boundaries.
Yeah.
You're not understanding where I'm coming from. So I can no longer work with you. As your mom said, I'd rather be sitting and reading a book.
Exactly.
Or taking a
with
nap.
my feet up on the couch.
Or helping someone else for that matter.
Exactly.
Because women like you and I, we're very busy and we always have something next on our schedule.
Exactly. There's never nothing to do.
Never. You sound like my mom right
I
now.
have a calendar. You know, it's funny. I have calendars everywhere on my phone, on my computer, but my favorite calendar is the one on my desk because I'm still old school. I have to write things down. And every Thursday, I sit and I look at the next week. And every day, there is something going on. And then I have my if you have time box. And it's like, if you finish all these other tasks,
and it never gets
work on
nowhere,
this.
right?
And then I just move it over to the next week and the next week. And those things are just for me, like the things that I want to work on. And it just gets pushed over and pushed over. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get them done. I do try at least every 2 weeks or so. I try to get that one thing on that list checked off. I feel accomplished when I do that. And then I'm like, all right, that's fine. Next week is going to keep growing, but at least I got that one thing done, you know? But I think that's all we can do. You know, you can't be hard on yourself. That's why I realized I used to be so hard on myself. And you can't do that. You have to give yourself leniency. You have to understand that you're not going to do it all, you know? And just be patient with yourself. You know, you only have 24 hours in the day, and hopefully 8 of those hours you're sleeping, you know, which I don't, but you
Not
should.
gonna happen.
No.
Not gonna happen. I don't know about you, but I slept 4 hours last night.
I don't. My goal is to have a consistent 6.
Yeah, no, I'm consistently maybe at 7.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm at 7, but I would definitely love to get that to be every single day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I do
always have to
try.
have goals.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I was listening to something recently, and it said this woman said that we as women, we have to work from our feminine energy, right? And feminine energy demands proper sleep, proper nutrition, taking care of yourself, being happy with your life, being happy with what you're doing. We as women cannot operate the same way as men on pure discipline. Men, they operate on waking up early, having a routine, and just getting things done one thing after the other, waking up, journaling. And I used to try to do that. I used to come from that side where I would wake up at 5 a.m., I would put in my workout, I would journal, I would do all of these things. And then for the rest of the day, I really felt burnt out. And when I heard this, and I kind of stopped doing it because I had my baby and it was just too hard to keep up with everything. But when I heard this, I said, wow, this makes so much sense. No wonder I felt that way, because we women, we cannot operate the same way as men. We have different needs. And you know what? It just makes me understand again how smart and amazing our religion is. You know, Judaism is so, it's right on point, because who wakes up in the morning to go to pray? The men, right? They wake up in the morning, they have to be pure, so they have to take their shower, they have to go and pray. And we as women, we get to stay home and be with the kids and, you know, start our day a little later. And wow, that really just, it clicked. It all made sense that we as women, we cannot run on the same engine as men do.
Yeah. We're more intuitive, I feel like.
So now I let myself, if I need to sleep a little longer, I allow myself to do so. I don't rush to, I mean, I still get a lot done in the day.
Right.
I have very long days. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't try to make my days like super, super disciplined where everything has to be done according to only a certain amount of schedule, like that morning routine or whatever it is. So that was really
eye-opening.
mind-blowing, actually. That was, wow, that makes so
it's really
sense.
True. I mean, if you look at, you know, you have a husband, so if you look at the way you operate and the way your husband operates, it's pretty accurate, because my husband's the same way. Like, he's got his things and he does them, and you know, and I'm just like, no, like, I feel this way, I gotta do this. And then also as moms, I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like my day at any moment can get interrupted by a child's needs, you know, whether they're at home or at camp or wherever. And who do they call first? The moms. And who do the kids want to hear from? The mom.
Yeah.
Like, some days my kids will call me and they'll just need to hear my voice. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Like, let me pause this. Yes, you're okay.
I feel like my kids are actually really attached to my husband.
Really?
Yeah, because they're all boys.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
So they're all really attached to him, but they do love to cuddle with me.
Yes. Oh my son has his mandatory cuddle time.
He wrestles with them. Yeah. He flips them. I can't do those things. I was pregnant for
a long time.
For 9 months. And my husband would always be like, don't touch mom. Do not jump on mom. Be careful.
They're boys.
You know how they are. So they're very cautious with me still,
Yeah.
I feel.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good for the future.
Yeah, they know, like, be nice to the woman, be nice to
Yeah.
the female.
Yeah. But I think it also, being a mom in the business field, in having your own business, there's just like, I don't know, I can't have the structured days that I want because my priority is them, right? So like whatever their needs are, if God forbid one of them are sick or whatever, I'm the one, or at least I choose to be the one to go in and
Always
take care of them and do that stuff. So I have to have a flexible schedule. I have to be the flexible person. Whereas my husband's like, no, I got to get these things done. They're getting done regardless of anything else going on in the world. And I'm like, okay, this is the balance we have, right? Like one of us has that flexibility, thank God. And one of us has that mindset of like, I have to do what's on my list.
So how do you deal with that? Well, let's say your kids, if one of them falls sick, or you know, I mean, you have to balance work and you have to balance everything else in your life. How do you deal with all of that?
It's a juggling act. You try to make it work. Like I've had instances where I'd have to work from home, or I mean, like, my husband, if need be, he'll take them to the doctor. He'll do all those things. But it's really about, like you said, discipline, scheduling. Everything has to be on the schedule. We have a family's calendar. Everyone gets tagged. My husband and I, and now our oldest son, everyone gets tagged. So everybody knows where everybody is at all times. Because if something happens, they need to be aware. And, let's see, whose schedule can we move around? Who is not attached to something? And that's how we make it work. It's not a perfectly oiled machine yet, but we're getting there. I feel like we're getting there.
I don't think in life anything's ever perfectly oiled, right? You plan one thing. I mean, my husband and I all of a sudden decided that it was one day that we had some time during the day, and we said, you know what, let's go get a couples massage.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Until we got into the car and we were on our way, and we got a call from my son's school saying that he was in the pool and he got his clothes wet too.
Oh no.
So now we had to go and drive over to his school and give him the clothes. And that was that.
That's parents' life. I've had days like those, many.
So there's never a well-oiled machine.
Yes. No, there isn't. And you have to give yourself grace for that. You can't, like, I used to be that way. Like, something like that would happen and it would affect my entire day. I would just completely, like, get derailed, But now I'm just kind of like, all right, let's keep moving. Like,
What's next?
Yeah. Like, everybody knows my gym time is 8:45. Like, I go to the gym at 8:45. Do not bother me that whole hour. And this morning, my car battery decided to die and there was no gym time. The old me would have been totally just devastated. My whole day would have been done. But now I'm like, all right, there's always tomorrow,
Yeah.
I think that takes time. I think that it takes time. If, like, certain personalities, you have to, I guess, become used to life changing in the blink of an eye.
It's all about your mindset. I feel you just have to know how to control, as Tony Robbins says, you have to be able to give yourself a few seconds and snap back out of it. Yeah. Okay, let me vent. Let me just scream and throw everything for like 90 seconds. And then I'm back. Okay, let's go. That's fine. It just passed.
Good.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're done being mad about it.
Yeah. But I think that's one of the things, wellness, is your mindset. That's the one thing I'm really trying to focus on nowadays, is shifting the mindset. Because I think we're just naturally fall to a negative mindset. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to learn how to just shift it more naturally to always look on the bright side. So like in Judaism, we have emunah, right? The belief that everything happens for a reason, and you have to have belief that it's already destined, like your destiny is already set. So if something happened to you that you weren't expecting, it was meant to happen that way. And so that's the one thing I'm trying to, like, always remind myself, okay, it's meant to be. Like, you were just not meant to go to the gym today, and that's okay, Do
you ever listen to David Gamm?
Yes, I have.
So in Kabbalah, he speaks about, if anything happens, just say, what a pleasure. And you know what? Instantly, that just makes you feel so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I have to do more of. What a pleasure.
If someone tells you something you don't like, what a pleasure.
I know.
Thank you.
I know.
So tell us, when you have to do it all, with that pressure, how do you deal with that? How do you silence that voice that keeps nagging at you?
I look to my lists. I have lots of lists everywhere.
You sound like my friend Rachel right now.
Yes. I think, yeah, I know Rachel. Rachel and I are very similar. That's
I always say, Rachel, how do you function with all these lists? They never end.
they
Never.
don't. They don't ever end. But I feel like having a list, at least for me, having a list gives me a sense of relief. I see my long list. It's better, yeah. For me, it's better to have my list on the paper than in my head. Because if it's all in my head, it drives me nuts.
Causes anxiety.
And that's where I feel like I can't control my day. When I write it all down, it is the brain dump. I let it all out. And once I start checking things off my list, I feel relief. Like, okay, I'm getting things done. And I know it's not going to be perfect. Like, I know I'm not going to get done with everything every day. And that's why I try to be very intentional with my lists. Like, I used to just write everything in no particular order, go through the list however I feel like it. And it wasn't really structured. Now I prioritize, like, the must-dos today or right now or within the hour. And then towards the bottom of my list are the things that I know will go on to the next day. And it actually kind of like gives me a purpose. Like, I know I have so much to do tomorrow. You know what I mean? It gives me a sense of like reality. Like, no, you can't take a day off tomorrow. You have to come to work. You have all this stuff. But I think that also helps me manage my day better. Because if I know that I don't really have a lot of fires to put out or a lot of priorities to take care of that day, I go easier on myself. And I think that's a really good balance for somebody who works for themselves. Being a solo practitioner, you're literally doing everything from A to Z. And your time is spent doing so many things in one day that having that list broken down in a way that helps you function is really important, because you kind of you see the big picture, you see the end, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but also it's so flexible for you that you can move things around. You can still, I think that's what gives me the ability to breathe, that I'm not held to these timelines 100%. I am in control of them. And it also keeps me from derailing and sitting and scrolling on social media all day, because I have stuff to do. I can't just be like,
I know. Anytime you like start to doom scroll, I don't have time for this.
no,
Goodbye.
no. The minute I open, I'll go on Instagram, obviously, for like posts and stuff like that. But the minute I do that first swipe, nope. No, we are not friends. I put it away and I'm like, whoever it was whose video I saw first and liked, you're lucky today, because otherwise I don't have time to
It really tries to get you.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it's so short, and then there's the
Yeah.
next one, and then there's the
Yeah.
next one. You
But
have to be really in control of
you
yourself and
do.
say, no, I'm sorry. This
Yeah.
is not happening.
Yeah.
We have to keep moving. Our day
I
is
know.
worth so much. And this is,
It's
I
so
mean,
hard.
you know, it's really sad that a lot of people say they don't have time to do things, but they spend hours just doom scrolling.
Yeah. Yep. I've read a lot about that. It's so many factors. Some people say ADHD. Some people say when you have, like, I know that there's certain tasks, like unpreferred tasks, I just don't like to do them, right? And so I know that that's next on my list, and I'm just like,
It's your way of
I
procrastinating.
hate this. Yeah. And so I'll just be like, oh, let me just see if I have to post something on Instagram, or like, let me see if somebody responded to my message. And that's when the doom scrolling starts, because I have this unpreferred task. But then I have to kind of reel myself back in and be like, well, that task is still going to be there when you stop doom scrolling 2 hours later, and you'll be miserable. So
Speaking of screen time, I've actually had quite a few patients, quite a few clients come to me and tell me that, well, usually their mothers actually come to me and tell me what a bad impact video games have had on their kids. And I mean, when I speak about bad impact, I'm talking about very severe depression, anxiety, suicide. Yes, disassociation from the real world. So whoever is watching this, please be cautious with the video games and the amount of time you're allowing your kids to play video games, because there comes a certain point once you've allowed that where you cannot take it away, right? There's some kids that are, you know, panicking and threatening suicide where their parents cannot take away the video games from them. And there are other kids that lost all sense of reality. So for whoever is listening, just for caution, do not allow your kids to play video games. They are not harmless. They are very addictive, and your kids might say that they enjoy it and they like it. And I get that we as parents want to make our kids happy and allow them to do things that make their life better, but this is not one of them. So these video games were made specifically, they were designed in a way to keep kids releasing dopamine, and keep kids in a place where they actually feel addicted to these video games. Just caution.
Yeah, it's really scary.
It's so scary and very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
For the parents, for the kids, for the youth.
Yeah. And it's also, there's a lot of things. I mean, if they go on these video games that are on the internet and they talk to people, like that's the one thing I told my kids. If I ever find you speaking to anybody on these video games, you're done. Like there's no talking to anybody. And I check to make sure that whoever their friends are on these video games are kids from school or their family members or whatever, because there's really just so much out there that nowadays, like I know we grew up in a time where, you know, we had like AOL chat rooms where you could literally talk to anybody in the country or even in the world. You have no idea who these people are. But I think we're also living in a different time. And now we're living in a time where unfortunately there are predators and things like that. And some parents don't even know to look at those video games, you know, to see what their kids are doing. And I think it's so important for parents to actually take that step and like open that game, see who they're talking to, what are they talking about? Like even some of these like Roblox. I don't know if your kids play that, but there's this program.
Don't have video games at home.
Oh, like there's this program called Roblox, and people create these games, and some of them are very inappropriate, and they're tailored towards kids. And I think that parents really need to be aware of that. They just think that it's harmless. It's not.
Right. Multiple times. I mean, people have tried to buy video games for my kids as a gift, whether it's, you know, grandparents or aunts, uncles. And I've multiple times said, no, thank you. And which makes me really sad because when I was a kid, you know, we did play once in a while. My brother and I, we played Spider-Man.
Mario
we played,
Brothers.
yeah, Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
We played, but I think that with everything that's going on right now, the fear is very real for your kids to become victims of that.
Yeah.
And
a lot of parents don't have time to monitor what
exactly
their kids are doing. They kind of just let them go and kind of self-regulate, which kids are not able to do at that age. I mean, I have a 14-year-old that I still have to regulate, you know, they're kids.
Of course.
And we have to be mindful of that. But we're living in such a time where it's not just the business owners, the entrepreneurs that are like living on a time crunch. I think it's everybody. I think we're just like, life is so much faster nowadays. There's just so much, you feel like there's so much less time in the day that a lot of parents just don't even understand that this is a threat to their children, that they have to monitor.
A threat within the home.
Yeah. Because the kid, this breaks that relationship between the parent and child, because you're taking something away that gives them so much joy, and they look at you as the evil one because this makes me so happy. How could you take this away from me? And this creates a really big problem in homes. That's the one thing I monitor what my kids do on their electronic iPads, phones, whatever, because kids don't know any better. It's our job to monitor them. You can't shield them 100%. Obviously, what you do is right. You limit what can come into your house, and as a parent, you have the right. You should do that. But the parents who feel that it's okay to have video games should monitor and limit the kid's ability to be on that, because it's really bad for brain development. And like you said, it's a dopamine dump, so the kids just can't get enough of it. And over time, their tolerance to it grows, right? Like who won't mind sitting there for hours just like aimless or just like mindlessly scrolling
and late into the night?
Yeah, which affects their sleep. And that's the thing too. I teach my kids about sleep, the importance of sleep.
Yes.
Because I know my kids are varying in age. I have a 7, 10, and 14-year-old, and each of them are like, well, I'm older now, I should be able to sleep less. I'm like, no, actually, you still need a certain amount of sleep, still need a minimum of 8 hours. If you can get more, that's good, because your body needs it. And so I try to teach them the importance
they're still growing.
Of healthy sleep. Yeah.
What is your version of success?
Oh, man. So younger, success was you accomplish certain things. But I think now as I get older, as my children grow, my meaning of success changes too. Success for me is my kids accomplishing the things that I know that they can accomplish, that we work together on them accomplishing, but also my business changing and growing. It is always like a next level of success, you know? And I think for me, success is having the ability to keep getting to a next level. I don't think that I'm ever going to reach a level of like I'm successful. Like I made it. I'm on the top of Mount Everest. No, I think that every milestone will kind of like change my version of what success is. And as long as I can keep doing that, as long as I'm in a good mental, physical state, that for me is success.
Do you ever stop to celebrate your small wins?
I do. I do. That's why I love the gym so much, because when you can lift 5 pounds heavier than you did last week, you feel it. Like your body's like, wow, I did that. I couldn't do that last week. And that kind of really makes you stop for a second and realize that that's a win. Like your body is changing. And in life too, I try to stop and like it's hard though, because you're just constantly moving. Oh, that's great. But then I do stop and think like, wow, that's really awesome. Like my Adele video, which nobody thought is going to like the people I asked, it's kind of cringe. But then it hit like 1,000 views and I was like, oh, look at me. Yay. That was fun.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what everyone's talking about. I have to watch it.
You have to watch it. That's so
Everybody,
funny.
you have to watch this video Adele's talking about. It's
so
on
funny.
her Instagram, right, Adele?
Yes.
And you can find it at Lifting Lawyer Lady.
Yes.
Like it, leave a comment, let Adele know what do you think of it. 'Cause
Share.
She loves it.
Share it. Maybe Adele, the other Adele, will see it.
Yes, it's a proud moment for Adele. So please let her know how you feel about it. Well, I'm really grateful that you were here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
This
me.
was a lot of fun.
I love talking to you.
I enjoyed this a lot. Do you have any questions for me?
I have so many questions for you. But I think my biggest question for you is, where are you going next? You have so much on the horizon.
Where am I going next? So my goal is, I've really been thinking really broad about how can I help more people? And the thing is that I have everything in my home, right? Everything that I need for any situation. So my son came up with, I mean, not that my kids get sick often, thank God, but my son had strep and I was able to get rid of it within 3 hours.
It's amazing.
It's not that only I can do it. You just have to have the right tools, right? So my goal is to really put a whole package of everything into everyone's home. So when you go into anybody's closet, call it the pharmacy closet in the house, right?
Yeah.
What will you find? You'll find the Zyrtec, you'll find Benadryl, you will find maybe Claritin, and then you'll find Tylenol, you'll find Motrin, maybe an old antibiotic that somebody stuffed away just in case for a rainy day, right? You'll find all of those things. And maybe some cough syrup, right? A lot of people have different things in their pharmacy closet. And so what I would love to do is put natural things in people's pharmacy closet, right? So make it their natural things. So let's say, for example, there's a bacterial infection, you have something for it right away. There's a viral infection, you have something for it right away. You have ear pain, you have the eardrops right away. And all these things, they have a long shelf life. So to buy it and to just have it stored at home for a rainy day, the Immunoate, of course. So all of those things, maybe even like an allergy detox, right? Right away, if somebody has a stomach ache, anything that you may encounter on a daily, right? Anything that you might come home with, maybe diarrhea or throwing up, whatever it is, for a mom to be able to give it to her kids right away and have them feel better. That is my goal. I want to make a whole package thing that I can help people learn how to use so that way they have it in their homes. Because I mean, how blessed do I feel that I have that opportunity to be able to use it right away for my kids for any acute situation. And I think that every mother deserves to have it too. You know, how I mean, you have we were kind of talking back and forth about something like that, where you have something for every symptom, right?
Little pharmacy.
But what if we were talking about something like strep?
Yeah.
That's really hard to get rid of, and you would have to go and get antibiotic for it. And when you go to your pediatrician, she would say, you have to take antibiotic. Otherwise, God forbid, you could have, something worse. And so my goal is to really be able to help moms on a huge scale. And nationwide, worldwide, there's no limit.
That would be awesome. As a mom who, when I first started having kids, had no idea about any of this stuff and just always being frantic when my kids got sick and giving the Tylenol, giving the Motrin and not knowing any better, I think that's so amazing.
We get rid of fevers like this. When my clients call me and they say, oh, my daughter has a fever or somebody doesn't feel well, I package an Immunoate and the viral detox, and the fever is gone. Like the next morning they wake up like nothing's ever happened.
That's so amazing. I feel like so many people feel helpless
And kids,
because
they
they don't
bounce
know.
back.
Right. That's the thing. I think that we're like our country is on curative and palliative health versus preventative.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not even curative.
not even, yeah, right.
It's just
It's
symptoms.
yeah. And I feel like having those tools that you mentioned at your like literally at your fingertips and knowing how to use them is so important. It's so empowering for parents too, because you go to the doctor and they always tell you the same things. They need antibiotics or, you know, Motrin or Tylenol. And using those for a long period of time really affects kids. And I think now they're coming up with all these studies showing that like Tylenol is really bad for children.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Takes away, sequesters all the glutathione.
Right.
Glutathione is really important for the body. It's the broom of the body. It takes
Right.
away all of the negative things in the body. It's an antioxidant, right? So it's taking, every time people take Tylenol, especially after a vaccine, when all of these things are being injected into the body, right? All these preservatives, all these adjuvants, they're being injected into the body, and then you're taking away the glutathione to take away a fever from the vaccine, and then you're taking away all of that ability for the glutathione to help your body remove that those preservatives. You're really causing an issue to your children. So touching on that subject, I would definitely say give glutathione before a vaccine and give a lot of glutathione after a vaccine. Do not use Tylenol. If you have to use anything, Motrin is preferred.
So is Motrin something that you would regularly give your kids or no?
No, I don't actually give it to my kids. As a matter of fact, my third one refuses to take anything that's pharmaceutical.
Smart kid.
He will not. He thinks it's disgusting.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, because one time he did have the flu. This was when he was 2 years old. And I tried nothing. And then we were fine. We got over it in 2-3 days. And he was under 5. And usually under 5 kids, they have really bad
like that, right?
things from flus, right? They get really sick. And he was, within 2-3 days, he was back to himself.
That's great. That's great. I'm so excited to see all that. I really am. Because I know a lot of parents who are just like afraid to take the holistic step because they feel like, I mean, there's still a lot of controversy about it. People still feel like it might not be the right thing. A lot of skepticism, especially when you talk to your doctor about those alternative remedies. Because I know
wave you off.
I know I've had those experiences.
Same, I have
where
too.
Doctors look at me like I'm nuts, and I'm not. I'm looking forward to that because I feel like I'm not a medical professional. So when I tell like my family members, like my sister-in-laws or whatever, do it this way, do this. They look at me like, well, my doctor said that. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know anything. But I feel like the more that someone like you provides this information, the more people that are open to listening to it, like we can really change the healthcare for our children.
Do you know how many times, Adele, at this point, we've helped people not use antibiotic for something as simple as an ear infection?
That's amazing.
Thousands. That's life-changing for people because some people, they cannot stop getting ear infections. And their kids, they're just taking one antibiotic after the other, ruins their gut, then causes eczema, allergies, and then after that it develops into asthma, and then they give them, it's just,
I know.
Ongoing.
I've gone through all those steps. I actually noticed that with my youngest, when he first started getting ear infections and I would give him antibiotics, he would continually get ear infections until I started doing a lot more research. And that next ear infection he got, and I didn't give him antibiotics, I treated him naturally, he no longer got ear infections after that. And I was like, what have I been doing? And you feel so bad because you as the mom are the one who is supposed to protect them when you think you are. But until we know better, I think that until it becomes more common and mainstream, the things that someone like you is saying, and people feel empowered by that, it's like parents are always going to feel self-doubt, about taking the holistic approach.
It's a fear. It's a fear. You go to your doctor and they say, oh, if you don't take an antibiotic, your child will probably lose his hearing, right? If you don't get those tubes in the ears, the child will probably lose his hearing. And then you hear that, or if you don't give, the antibiotic for strep, your child will have, rheumatic fever. And I mean, everything.
Scary stuff.
Yes.
They try to scare you.
It's not that they try to scare you. This is proven by research, but there are alternative methods. Yes, when your child has strep, God forbid, you do not want to do nothing about it and just leave it alone. But you can go the alternative route of draining out the bacteria as opposed to going straight for the antibiotic. And the difference between that is, Adele, when someone like me drains out the bacteria, we drain it out of all of the different fluids of the body, right? As opposed to the antibiotic, it only travels through the bloodstream. So if something doesn't have enough blood supply, like the tonsils, right? Tonsils don't get enough blood supply, the antibiotic is not going in there fully. It's not getting rid of the strep fully. It's getting rid of it as much as it can. So that's why when strep will come back, it will come back just kind of on the inside of that tonsil and surrounding that. And the strep will, and then you'll take another antibiotic, and again, it will just kill it outwardly. It will not kill all of it. It will not take away all of it. The bacterial detox, it does not kill the bacteria. It actually drains it out and drains out its toxins as well. So that's the difference between it. It goes into all the lymphatic tissue, it goes into that all that lymphatic fluid and actually pulls it out, as opposed to antibiotic, which is only going into the bloodstream. Because if you think about it, our tonsils are lymphatic tissue. So if we're draining out the lymphatic fluid, we're cleaning out the tonsils.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that's what antibiotics did.
Yeah. So that's why antibiotic has a hard time getting into something like the ear canal, right? And you know what? Actually, my education as a dentist, that's why my education as a dentist allows me to understand this, and I'll explain why. Because in the event that there's an infection in the tooth, and they don't give antibiotic for the infection in the tooth. The only time we give antibiotic is when the infection has already gone systemically. So come out of the tooth, out of the apex of that tooth, and gone into that area around the root of the tooth. That's when we give the antibiotic. And the reason we don't give it is because the antibiotic cannot go into the tooth, if that makes sense. And so if you think about it, the tonsils are also a separate part, right? And so is your ear canal. It's very hard for the antibiotic to really penetrate into that area and to clean it out. But my understanding of the tooth makes me understand that there are other parts of the body that the antibiotic cannot access as well, because the antibiotic is very systemic. So it'll kill as much bacteria as possible, but it cannot handle all of it. And that's why the bacteria sits there for years and constantly resurfaces. It's called opportunistic. Anytime you have stress, anytime you get a cold, your immune system falls, that bacteria will resurface and will reattack.
That makes so much sense. Wow.
So that's why we say, and also a lot of ear infections are actually not bacterial, they're fungal.
Right.
So a lot of times when antibiotics are given and the ear infections are fungal, the antibiotic will actually make the ear infection worse. That's not something that's well known.
Yeah.
So when we give the eardrops, our eardrops are both antibacterial and antifungal. And that's why they work wonders.
That's awesome. I know I've seen in your chat how amazing those eardrops are.
Yeah, they really are.
That's great. That's
Magical.
Really awesome.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you so much. I'm
can't
excited
wait
for your journey as well.
Well, I'm glad we're kind of doing something together too.
Yes.
I love working with strong women.
I love working with you.
Have a vision.
Yeah, you make it super easy to work with you, so I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm so glad to hear like that. I know there's lawyers, each lawyer has their own approach, but I'm glad mine works.
Right. No, I've said it from day one. I mean, even the other attorney that we're working with him, we have to constantly make an appointment to speak to him, and we can only reach him by email, and it's really hard to get a hold of him right away. With you is kind of your answer, and that reminds me a lot about like what I really try to be there for people, and sometimes even my texts, I'll read them all right away, but sometimes if I don't have the time and I see that it's not urgent, I won't answer right away, but I will answer within the day, or that's whenever I can. But if it's urgent, I will answer right away, and I'll be there for somebody, which is what that really reminds me of. And I think that's the society we live in right now, where we need to be we have to be there. Like, it has to be convenient, right? And that's what Amazon has showed us, and that's why there's so much growth, because Amazon is It's right there.
Yeah.
You know what? Even if you want the item in front of your door in 2 hours, just pay $2.99.
Instant gratification.
Right. And that saves you so much time because
Yeah.
let's say I need the sunscreen, we're going to the pool and I want it at my house right away. I don't have to go to the store and waste my time. I can sit at home, do my things,
Right.
which is going to take me much more than $2.99 to rush to the store.
Yeah. And also our profession with you, I mean, people are sick and they need relief right away. And so having the ability to reach you, which I think is amazing, honestly, like you're very available and you're very forthcoming with your information, and you try to educate anybody who is interested, which I think is awesome, because I think that you really provide so much value,
Thank you.
at least to people like me who want that information, who really want to find an alternative way to treat our family. Really am grateful for the fact that you are so available and have like this wealth of knowledge, because it's very trusting. You know, like I've talked to other people who do some form of, you know, alternative medicine, but with you, you just, like you said, you also have you're a dentist and you have this, and you can see things from so many different perspectives, which help your patients. And I think the same thing for me. Like my clients call me because they need an answer right now. Like I can't call them in 24 hours because things will change or things happen. And it's like, you kind of have to be available. We have to be the Amazons.
The Amazons
in our
of our
profession.
professions. Exactly. Jack
I love
always
that.
says, Jack is my husband. You know him very well, but just saying it for the audience. Jack always says that our goal is to become the Amazon of wellness.
I love it. I love it. It's a fast, like instant. You need help right away. So
because we work a lot with acute issues, right? So somebody's getting sick, somebody needs it fast. I had a client come in the other day. Her son had an ear infection. She needed it right away. Her son had, if we let it escalate, it might turn into needing antibiotics. So we have to be there for people right away. And that's what we really try to do. Come by, pick it up, or we'll have it delivered. We can Uber it, anything. So get it, feel better, feel great. We'll deliver it. You can pick it up if it's not within our delivering distance, or you can always Uber it. We never have any types of restrictions.
That is so great. I didn't know you guys Ubered. That's so good to know.
We Uber, we ship, we work nationwide.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I'm so excited for your journey.
Thank you so much. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on here,
Thank
Adele.
you for having me.